you? Cuckoo, where are you? Cuckoo, 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 where are you? Cuckoo, where are you? Cuckoo, 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 cuckoo. Cuckoo, what do you do? Cuckoo, what do you do? In April come I will, in May I sing all day. Cuckoo, what do you do? In June I change my tune, in July I prepare to fly, in August go I must. Cuckoo, 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 where are you? Cuckoo, where are you? Where are you? Where are you? Where are you? Where are you?
Pat a cake, baker's man, bake a cake as fast you can.
Pat a cake, baker's man, bake a cake as fast you can. Pat a cake, baker's man, bake a cake as fast you can.
Meena, deena, dina, dus, cattle, weena, wine, was, spit, spot, must be done, twiddle and twaddle and 21. Meena, deena, dina, dus, cattle, weena, wine, was, spit, spot, must be done, twiddle and twaddle and 21. Andrew, Samuel, Nicholas,
Ursula, Helena, Imogen, Alexander,
Timothy, Hillary,
Veronica, Isabella, Anna, Barbara,
Amaryllis, Peter, Paul, Sebastian,
Ebenezer. Rags and bones, rags and bones. Knives to grind, knives to grind, knives to grind. Have you any work for a tinker?
watercresses, fresh watercresses.
Bellows to mend, bellows to mend. Have you any rats or mice to kill?
Hot spice gingerbread, hot spice gingerbread, smoking hot spice gingerbread. Strawberries, scarlet strawberries, who'll buy my sweet lavender?
Tinker, tailor, soldier, sailor, rich man, poor man, beggar man, thief. Tinker, tailor, soldier, sailor, rich man, poor man, beggar man, thief. Tinker, tailor, soldier, sailor, rich man, poor man, beggar man, thief. Tinker, tailor, soldier, sailor, rich man, poor man, beggar man, thief. Bobby Shatter's gone to sea, silver buckles at his knee. He'll come back and marry me, bonny Bobby Shatter. Bobby Shatter's fat and fair, combing down his yellow hair. He's my love forevermore, bonny Bobby Shatter. Little Tommy Tucker sings for his supper. What shall we give him? White bread and butter. How shall he cut it without any knife? How can he marry without any wife? Little Tommy Tucker sings for his supper. Little Tommy Tucker sings for his a-ring-a-roses, a pocket full of posies. Ring-a-ring-a-roses, a pocket full of posies. Ring-a-ring-a-roses, a pocket full of posies. Ring-a-ring-a-roses, a pocket full of posies. A tissue, we all fall down. Ring-a-ring-a-roses, a pocket full of posies. Ring-a-ring-a-roses, a pocket full of posies. Tommy's fallen in the pond, did you hear him splashing? When at last he gets back home, won't he get a thrashing? Tommy's fallen in the pond, did you hear him splashing? When at last he gets back home, won't he get a thrashing? Ha ha, serve him right! Ha ha, serve him right! Ha ha, serve him right! Tom, Tom the piper's son stole a pig and away did run. Tom the piper's son stole a pig and away did run. Pig, pig, the pig was eat. Tom, Tom, and Tom was beat. And Tom went roaring, 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 roaring down the street.
farewell, may your sorrows, brethren, flow in all the expressive signs of woe. Your softer garments tear, and squalid sackcloth wear. Your drooping heads with ashes strew, and with a flowing tear your cheeks bedew.
Daughters, let your distressful cries and loud lament ascend the skies. Your tender bosoms beat and tear with hands remorseless your disheveled hair. For pale and breathless Mattathias lies, sad emblem of his country's miseries.
From this dread scene, these adverse past, ah, whither shall we fly? Ah, whither shall we fly? Oh, Solima, ah, whither shall we fly?
This dread scene, this adverse past. Oh, whither shall we fly? Oh, whither shall we fly? Oh, Solima.
Oh, Solima,
This dread
thy
scene,
host in smoke,
oh, whither shall we fly? Oh, whither shall we fly?
this storm of grief, to vent our sorrows gives relief. Wretched indeed, but let not jewelers waste their ruin with desponding arms embrace. This dreadful doubt and desperation, he'll become a chosen nation, chosen by the great I am, the Lord of hosts, who still the same we trust will give attentive ear to the sincerity of prayer.
This way, come and hear, you that hold these pleasures dear. Fill your ears with our sweet sound, whilst we melt the frozen ground. This way come, make haste, O fair. Let your clear eyes gild the air. Come and bless us with your sight. This way, seek delight.
Since the age of 15, poetry has been my ruling passion, and I have never intentionally undertaken any task or formed any relationship that seemed inconsistent with poetic principles, and this has sometimes won me the reputation of an eccentric. Prose has been my livelihood, but I have used it as a means of sharpening my sense of the altogether different nature of poetry, and the themes that I choose are always linked in my mind with outstanding poetic problems. At the age of 59, I am still amused at the paradox of poetry's obstinate continuance in the present phase of civilization. Although regarded as a learned profession, it is the only one for the study of which no academies are open, and in which there is no yardstick, however crude, by which technical proficiency is considered measurable. Poets are born, not made. The deduction that one is expected to draw from this is that the nature of poetry is too mysterious to bear examination, is indeed a greater mystery even than royalty, since kings can be made as well as born, and the quoted utterances of a dead king carry little weight either in the pulpit or the public bar. The paradox can be explained by the great official prestige that still somehow clings to the name of poet, as it does to the name of king, and by the feeling that poetry, since it defies scientific analysis, must be rooted in some sort of magic, and that magic is disreputable. European poetic law is indeed ultimately based on magical principles, the rudiments of which formed a close religious secret for centuries, but which were at last garbled, discredited, and forgotten. Now it is only by rare accidents of spiritual regression that poets make their lines magically potent in the ancient sense. Otherwise, the contemporary practice of poem writing recalls the medieval alchemists' fantastic and foredoomed experiments in transmitting base metal into gold, except that the alchemist did at least recognize pure gold when he saw and handled it. The truth is that only gold can be turned into gold, only poetry into poems. I tend to judge poets by their faithfulness to the single poetic theme of life and death, the theme which is implicit in the festal system common to all Europe, originally pagan but Christianized in the celebrations of Candlemas, Lady Day, May Day, Midsummer Day, Lammas, Michaelmas, and Christmas. It is the quarter days and the cross-quarter days. Perfect faithfulness to the theme affects the reader of a poem with a strange feeling between delight and horror, of which the purely physical effect is that the hair literally stands on end. A. Houseman's test of a true poem was simple and practical. He asked, "Does it make the hairs of one's chin bristle if one repeats it silently while shaving?" But he didn't explain why the hair should bristle. The theme, briefly, is the antique story, which falls into 13 chapters and an epilogue, of the birth, life, death, and resurrection of the god of the waxing year, the first part of the year. The central chapters concern the god's losing battle with the god of the waning year, the second half. For love of the capricious and all-powerful threefold goddess, their mother, bride, and layer out. The poet identifies himself with the god of the waxing year, and his muse with the goddess. The rival is his blood brother, his other self, his weird. All true poetry, that is, true by Houseman's practical test, celebrates some incident or scene in this very ancient story, and the three main characters are so much a part of our racial inheritance that they not only assert themselves in poetry, but recur on occasions of emotional stress in the form of dreams, paranoid visions, and delusions. The weird or rival often appears in nightmare as the tall, lean, dark-faced bedside spectre, or prince of the air, who tries to drag the dreamer out through the window, so that he looks back and sees his body still lying rigid in bed. But he takes countless other malevolent or diabolic or serpent-like forms. The goddess is a lovely slender woman with a hooked nose, deathly pale face, lips red as rowan berries, startlingly blue eyes, and long fair hair. She will suddenly transform herself into sow, mare, bitch, vixen, she-ass, weasel, serpent, owl, she-wolf, tigress, mermaid, or loathsome hag. Her names and titles are innumerable. In ghost stories, she often figures as the White Lady, and in ancient religions, from the British Isles to the Caucasus, as the White Goddess. I can't think of any true poet from Homer onwards who has not independently recorded his experience of her. The test of a poet's vision, one might say, is the accuracy of his portrayal of the White Goddess and of the island over which she rules. The reason why the hairs stand on end, the skin crawls, and a shiver runs down the spine when one writes or reads a true poem is that a true poem is necessarily an invocation of the White Goddess, or the Muse, the mother of all living, the ancient power of fright and lust, the female spider, or the queen bee, whose embrace is death. Sometimes in reading a poem, the hairs will bristle at an apparently unpeopled and eventless scene described in it, if the elements bespeak her unseen presence clearly enough. For example, when owls hoot, the moon rides like a ship through scudding cloud, trees sway slowly together above a rushing waterfall, and a distant barking of dogs is heard, or when a peal of bells in frosty weather suddenly announces the birth of the new year. Despite the deep sensory satisfaction to be derived from classical poetry, it never makes the hair rise or the heart leap, except where it fails to maintain decorous composure, and that is because of the difference between the attitudes of the classical poet and of the true poet to the White Goddess. This is not to identify the true poet with the romantic poet. Romantic, a useful word while it covered the reintroduction into Western Europe by the writers of verse romances of a mystical reverence for woman, has become tainted by indiscriminate use. The typical romantic poet of the 19th century was physically degenerate or ailing, addicted to drugs and melancholia, critically unbalanced, and a true poet only in his fatalistic regard for the goddess as a mistress who commanded his destiny. The classical poet, however gifted and industrious, fails to pass the test because he claims to be the goddess's master. She is his mistress only in the derogatory sense of one who lives in coquettish ease under his protection. Sometimes, indeed, he is her boardmaster. He attempts to heighten the appeal of his lines by studying them with beauties borrowed from true poems. In classical Arabic poetry, there is a device known as kindling, in which the poet induces the poetic atmosphere with a luscious prologue about groves, streams, and nightingales, and then quickly, before it disperses, turns to the real business in hand, a flattering account, say, of the courage, piety, and magnanimity of his patron, or sage reflections on the shortness and uncertainty of human life. In classical English poetry, the artificial kindling process is often protracted to the full length of the piece. Come, surly fellow, come, a song. What fools sing to you? choose from the clouded tales of wrong and terror I bring to you. Of a night so torn with cries, honest men sleeping start awake with rabid eyes, bone chilled, flesh creeping. Of spirits in the web-hung room, up above the stable, groans, knockings in the gloom, the dancing table. Of demons in the dry well that cheep and mutter, clanging of an unseen bell, blood choking the gutter. Of lust filthy past belief, lurking unforgotten, unrestrainable, endless grief in breasts long rotten. A song? What laughter or what song can this house remember? Do flowers and butterflies belong to a blind December? Owls, they whinny down the night. Bats go zigzag by. Ambushed in shadow beyond sight, the outlaws lie. Old gods, tamed to silence, there in the wet woods they lurk, greedy of human stuff to snare in nets of murk. Look up, else your eye will drown in a moving sea of black. Between the treetops, upside down, goes the sky track. Look up, else your feet will stray toward that dim ambuscade where spider-like they trap their prey in webs of shade. For though creeds whirl away in dust, faith fails, and men forget, these aged gods of fright and lust cling to life yet. Old gods, almost dead, malign, starved of their ancient dues, incense and grain, fire, blood and wine, and an unclean muse. Banished to woods and a sickly moon, shrunk to mere bogey things, who spoke with thunder once at noon to prostrate kings, with thunder from an open sky to warrior, tyrant, priest, bowing in fear with a dazzled eye toward the dread east. Proud gods, humbled, sunk so low, living with ghosts and ghouls, and ghosts of ghosts, and last year's snow, and dead toadstools. Ellie call the birds in, the birds from the sky. Ellie calls, Ellie sings, down they all fly. First there came 2 white doves, then a sparrow from his nest, then a clucking bantam hen, then a robin redbreast. Ellie call the beasts in, the beasts every one. Ellie calls, Ellie sings, in they all run. First there came 2 black lambs, then a grunting Berkshire sow, then a dog without a tail, then a red and white cow. Ellie call the fish up, the fish from the stream. Ellie calls, Ellie sings, up they all swim. First there came 2 goldfish, a minnow and a miller's thumb, then a school of little trout, then the twisting eels come. Ellie call the children, call them from the green. Ellie calls, Ellie sings, soon they run in. First there came Tom and Madge, Kate and I, who'll not forget how we played by the water's edge till the April sunset.
Tiger, tiger, burning bright in the forests of the night, what immortal hand or eye could frame thy fearful symmetry? In what distant deeps or skies burnt the fire of thine eyes? On what wings dare he aspire? What the hand dare seize the fire? And what shoulder and what art could twist the sinews of thy heart? And when thy heart began to beat, what dread hand and what dread feet? What the hammer? What the chain? In what furnace was thy brain? What the anvil? What dread grasp dare its deadly terrors clasp? When the stars threw down their spears and watered heaven with their tears, Did he smile his work to see? Did he who made the lamb make thee? Tiger, tiger, burning bright in the forests of the night, what immortal hand or eye dare frame thy fearful symmetry? Who wants Wednesday? Who wants that day?
I do. It's mine. Don't throw Wednesday away.
Who wants words spoken, oh, long since?
I want them. I heard them spoken once.
Air. Who wants the air birds will use?
Air of all four is the element I choose.
Who wants the always open doorway doubt?
I do. It is the way I walk in and out.
And honor's diary, and the stars in mind. A clock that runs too fast, yet never wound. And underground a ring cut with your name, and green ivy, and an empty golden frame.
I want them all. All these belong to me. What I was, what I am, and what I am to be.
Pay me for them. What do you offer me?
What I was, what I am, and what I am to be.
Love without hope, as when the young bird-catcher swept off his tall hat to the squire's own daughter. So let the imprisoned larks escape and fly, singing about her head as she rode by. What did I dream? I don't know. The fragments fly like chaff. It's strange. My mind was tickled so, I cannot help but laugh. Pull the curtains close again. Tuck me grandly in. Must a world of humour wane because birds begin descanting in a restless tone, rousing me from sleep? The finest entertainment known, and given rag cheap. walking with a virgin heart, the green hills of May, me, the wind, she took as lover by her side to play. Let me toss her untied hair, let me shake her gown, careless though the daisies redden, though the sun frown, scorning in her gay courage lesser love than this, my cool spiritual embracing, my secret kiss. So she walked, the proud lady, so danced or ran, so she loved with a whole heart, neglecting man. Fade, fail, innocent stars, on the green of May, she has left our bourns forever, too fine to stay. Are they blind, the lords of Gaza, in their strong towers, who declare Samson pillow-smothered and stripped of his powers? O stolid Philistines, stare now in amaze at my foxes running in your cornfields with their tails ablaze, at swung jawbone, at bees swarming in the stark lion's hide, at these, the gates of well-walled Gaza, a clank to my stride. Often, halfway to sleep, not yet sunken deep, the sudden moment on me comes from a mountain shagged and steep, with terrible roll of dreamed drums, reverberations, cymbals, horns replying, when with standards flying, horsemen in clouds behind, the coloured pomps unwind the carnival wagons with their saints and their dragons on the scroll of my teeming mind. The creation and flood, with our Saviour's blood, and fat Silena's flagons, and every rare beast from the south and east, both greatest and least, on and on in endless different procession. I stand at the top rungs of a ladder reared in the air, and I rail in strange tongues, so the crowds murmur and stare. Then volleys again the blare of horns, and summer flowers fly scattering in showers, and the sun leaps in the sky, while the drums thumping by proclaim me. Oh, then when I wake, could I courage take to renew my speech? Could I stretch and reach the flowers and the ripe fruit laid out at the ladder's foot? Could I rip a silken shred from the banner tossed ahead? Could I call a double flam from the drums? Could the goat horned with gold? Could the ram with a flank like a barn door, the dwarf, the blackamoor? Could Jonah and the whale and the holy grail, the ape with his platter going titter-clatter, the nymphs and the satyr, and every marvellous matter come before me here, standing near and clear? Could I make it so that you might wonder at them too? Glories of land and sea, of heaven glittering free, castles hugely built in Spain, glories of cocaine, of that spicy kingdom canned, of the delectable land, of the land of crooked stiles, of the fortunate isles, of the more than 60 miles that to Babylon lead, a pretty city indeed, built on a 4-square plan, or the land of the gold man, whose eager horses whinny in their cribs of gold, of the land of Whipperguinea, of the land where none grows old. But cowardly I tell rather of the town of hell, a huddle of dirty woes, and houses in fading rows straggled through space. Hell has no market-place, nor point where 4 ways meet, nor principal street, nor barracks, nor town hall, nor shops at all, nor rest for weary feet, nor theatre, square or park, nor lights after dark, nor churches nor inns, nor convenience for sins, neither ends nor begins, rambling, limitless, hated well, this town of hell, where between sleep and sleep I dwell.
Don't be polite, bite in. Pick it up with your fingers and lick the juice that may run down your chin. It is ready and ripe now whenever you are. You do not need a knife, or fork, or spoon, or plate, or napkin, or tablecloth, for there is no core, or stem, or rind, or pit, or seed, or skin to throw away.
Children, if you dare to think of the greatness, rareness, muchness, fewness of this precious, only, endless world in which you say you live, you think of things like this. Blocks of slate, enclosing dappled green and red, enclosing tawny yellow nets, enclosing white and black acres of dominoes, where a neat brown paper parcel tempts you to untie the string. In the parcel a small island, on the island a large tree, on the tree a husky fruit. Strip the husk and pare the rind off. In the centre you will see blocks of slate, enclosed by dapple red and green, enclosed by tawny yellow nets, enclosed by white and black acres of dominoes, where the same brown paper parcel. Children, leave the string untied, for who dares undo the parcel finds himself at once inside it, on the island, in the fruit, blocks of slate about his head, finds himself enclosed by dappled red and green, enclosed by yellow tawny nets, enclosed by black and white acres of dominoes, with the same brown paper parcel still untied upon his knee. And if he then should dare to think of the fewness, muchness, rareness, greatness of this endless, only, precious world in which he says he lives, he then unties the string. Children are dumb to say how hot the day is, how hot the scent is of the summer rose, how dreadful the black wastes of evening sky, how dreadful the tall soldiers drumming by. But we have speech to chill the angry day, and speech to dull the rose's cruel scent. We spell away the overhanging night, we spell away the soldiers and the fright. There's a cool web of language winds us in, retreat from too much joy or too much fear. We grow sea-green at last, and coldly die in bridiness and volubility. But if we let our tongues lose self-possession, throwing off language in its watery clasp before our death, instead of when death comes, facing the wide glare of the children's day, facing the rose, the dark sky, and the drums, we shall go mad, no doubt, and die that way. Far away is close at hand. Close joined is far away. Love shall come at your command, yet will not stay. At summons of your dream despair, she might not disobey, but slid close down beside you there, and complaisant lay. Yet now her flesh and blood consent at the prime of day, joy and passion both are spent, fading clean away. Is the person empty air? Is the spectre clay, that love, lent substance by despair, wanes, and leaves you lonely there on the bridal day? Why say death? Death is neither harsh nor kind. Other pleasures or pains could hold the mind if she were dead, for dead is gone indeed, lost beyond recovery and need, discarded, ended, rotted underground, of whom no personal feature could be found to stand out from the soft blur evenly spread on memory, if she were truly dead. But living still, barred from accustomed use of body and dress and motion, with profuse reproaches, since this anguish of her grew, do I still love her as I swear I do? She fills the house and garden terribly with her bewilderment, accusing me, till every stone and flower, table and book, cries out her name, pierces me with her look. You are deaf, listen. You are blind, see. How deaf or blind, when horror of the grave maddens the mind with those same pangs that lately choked her breath, altered her substance, and made sport of death.
I will arise and go now, and go to innes free, and a small cabin build there of clay and wattles made. 9 bean rows will I have there, a hive for the honey bee, and live alone in the bee loud glade. And I shall have some peace there, for peace comes dropping slow, dropping from the vales of the morning to where the cricket sings. There midnight's ordered glimmer, and noon a purpled glow, and evening full of the linnet's wings. I will arise and go now, for always night and day I hear lake water lapping with low sounds by the shore. While I stand on the roadway or on the pavements grey, I hear it in the deep heart's core.
There's much afoot in heaven and earth this year. The winds hunt up the sun, hunt up the moon, trouble the dubious dawn, hasten the drear height of a threatening noon. No breath of boughs, no breath of leaves, of fronds may linger or grow warm. The trees are loud, the forest rooted tosses in her bonds, and strains against the cloud. No sense may pause within the garden fold. The rifled flowers are cold as ocean shells. Bees, humming in the storm, carry their cold, wild honey to cold cells.
Glory be to God for dappled things, for skies of couple colour as a brinded cow, for rose moles all in stipple upon trout that swim, fresh fire-coal chestnut falls, finches' wings, landscapes plotted and pieced, fold, fallow, and plough, and all trades, their gear and tackle and trim, all things counter, original, spare, strange, whatever is fickle, freckled, who knows how, with swift, slow, sweet, sour, a dazzle, dim. He fathers forth, whose beauty is past change. Praise him.
This wind brings all dead things to life, branches that lash the air like whips, and dead leaves rolling in a hurry, or peering in a rabbit's bury, or trying to push down a tree, gates that fly open to the wind and close again behind, and fields that are a flowing sea and make the cattle look like ships, straws glistening and stiff lying on air as on a shelf, and pond that leaps to leave itself, and feathers, too, that rise and float, each feather changed into a bird, and line-hung sheets that crack and strain, even the sun-green coat that through so many winds has served, the scarecrow struggles to put on again.
All night and all day the wind roared in the trees, until I could think there were waves rolling high as my bedroom floor. When I stood at the window, an elm bough swept to my knees. The blue spruce lashed like a surf at the door. The second dawn I would not have believed. The oak stood with each leaf stiff as a bell. When I looked at the altered scene, my eye was undeceived, but my ear still kept the sound of the sea like a shell.
Silent are the woods, and the dim green boughs are hushed in the twilight. Yonder, in the path through the apple orchard, is a tired ploughboy calling the cows home. A bright white star blinks, the pale moon rounds, but still the red, lurid wreckage of the sunset smoulders in smoky fire and burns on the misty hilltops. Ghostly it grows and darker. The burning fades into smoke, and now the gusty oaks are a silent army of phantoms, thronging a land of shadows. There was this road, and it led uphill, and it led downhill, and round, and in, and out, and the traffic was legs from the knees down, coming and going, never pausing, and the gutters gurgled with the rain's overflow, and the sticks on the pavement blindly tapped and tapped. What drew the legs along was the never-stopping and the senseless, frightening fate of being legs. Legs for the road for legs, resolutely nowhere in both directions. My legs, at least, were not in that route. On grass by the roadside entire I stood, watching the unstoppable legs go by with never a stumble between step and step. Though my smile was broad, the legs could not see. Though my laugh was loud, the legs could not hear. My head dizzied. Then I wondered suddenly, might I too be a walker from the knees down? Gently I touched my shins. The doubt unchained them. They had run in 20 puddles before I regained them.
There was a giant by the orchard wall, peeping about on this side and on that, and feeling in the trees. He was as tall as the big apple tree and twice as fat, his beard poked out, all bristly black, and there were leaves and gorse and heather in his hair. He held a blackthorn club in his right hand, and plunged the other into every tree, searching for something. You could stand beside him and not reach up to his knees, so big he was. I trembled lest he should come trampling, round-eyed, down to where I stood. I tried to get away, but as I slid under a bush, he saw me, and he bent down deep at me and said, "Where is she hid?" I pointed over there, and off he went. But while he searched, I turned and simply flew round by the lilac bushes back to you. I know some lonely houses off the road a robber'd like the look of, wooden barred, and windows hanging low, inviting to a portico, where two could creep, one hand the tools, the other peep to make sure all's asleep. Old-fashioned eyes, not easy to surprise. How orderly the kitchen'd look by night, with just a clock. But they could gag the tick, and mice won't bark, and so the walls don't tell. None will. A pair of spectacles ajar just stir. An almanac's aware. Was it the mat winked, or a nervous star? The moon slides down the stair to see who's there. There's plunder. Where? Tankard, or spoon, earring, or stone, a watch, some ancient brooch to match the grandmamma, stayed sleeping there. Day rattles too, stealths slow. The sun has got as far as the third sycamore. Screams Chanticleer, "Who's there?" And echoes, trains away, sneer, "Where?" While the old couple, just astir, think that the sunrise left the door ajar.
Somewhere, somewhen, I've seen, but where or when I'll never know, parrots of shrilly green, with crests of shriller scarlet, flying out of black cedars as the sun was dying against cold peaks of snow. From what forgotten life of other worlds I cannot tell, flashes that screeching strife. Yet the shrill color and shrill crying sing through my blood and set my heart replying and jangling like a bell.
There was once a king of York who had 10,000 men. He led them up to the top of a hill and led them down again. And when they were up, and when they were down, and when they were only halfway up, they were neither up nor down.
The flower-fed buffaloes of the spring in the days of long ago ranged where the locomotives sing and the prairie flowers lie low. The tossing, blooming, perfumed grass is swept away by the wheat. Wheels and wheels and wheels spin by in the spring that still is sweet. But the flower-fed buffaloes of the spring left us long ago. They gore no more, they bellow no more, they trundle around the hills no more, with the Blackfeet lying low, with the Pawnees lying low, lying low.
The butterfly, a cabbage white, his honest idiocy of flight, will never now, it is too late, master the art of flying straight, yet has, who knows so well as I, a just sense of how not to fly. He lurches here and there by guess and God and hope and hopelessness. Even the aerobatic swift has not his flying crooked gift. Any honest housewife would sort them out, having a nose for fish, an eye for apples. Is it any mystery who are the sound and who the rotten? Never by her lights. Any honest housewife who, by ill fortune, ever engaged a slut to scrub for her, could instantly distinguish from the workers the lazy, the liars, and the petty thieves. Does this denote a sixth, peculiar sense gifted to housewives for their vestal needs? Or is it failure of the usual 5 in all unthrifty writers on this head? To be homeless is a pride to the jealous man prowling hungry down the night lanes, who has no steel at his side, no drink hot in his mouth, but a mind dream enlarged, who witnesses warfare, man with woman, hugely raging from hedge to hedge, the raw knotted oak club clenched in the raw fist, the ivy news well flung, the thronged din of battle, gaspings of the throat snared, snores of the battered dying. Tall corpses braced together, fallen in clammy furrows, male and female, or among haulms of nettle, humped in noisome heaps, male and female. He glowers in the choked roadway between twin churchyards, like a turnip ghost. Here the rain-worn headstone, there the Celtic cross in rank white marble. This jealous man is smitten. His fear-jerked forehead sweats a fine musk. A score of bats, bewitched by the ruttish odour, swoop singing at his head. Nuns, bricked up alive within the neighbouring wall, wail in cat-like longing. Crow cocks, crow loud, reprieve the doomed devil. Has he not died enough? Now, out of careless sleep, she wakes and greets him coldly, the woman at home. She, with a private wonder at shoes bemarred and bloody. His war was not hers. Into exile, with only a few shirts, some gold coin, and the necessary papers, but wins a contrary. The Channel packet, time after time, returns the seasick peer to Sandwich, Deal, or Rye. He does not land, but keeps his cabin. So at last we find him in humble lodgings at perhaps Dieppe, his shirts unpacked, his nightcap on a peg, passing the day with cards and swordsmanship, or merry passages with chambermaids, by night at his old work. And all is well. The country wine wholesome, although so sharp, and French his second tongue. A faithful valet brushes his hat and brings him newspapers. This nobleman is at home anywhere, his castle being, the valet says, his title. The cares of an estate would incommode such tasks as now his lordship has in hand. His lordship, says the valet, contemplates a profitable absence of some years. Has he no friend at court to intercede? He wants none. Exile's but another name for an old habit of non-residence in all but the recesses of his cloak. It was this angered a great personage. The vague sea thud, and from their fragments, age-long grinds, pebbles like flowers. Or the vague weather wanders in the fields, and upspring flowers with coloured buds, like marble pebbles. The beauty of the flowers is time, death grieved. The pebbles' beauty, too, is time, life wearied. It is easy to admire a blowing flower, or a smooth pebble, flower-like freaked by time and vagueness. Time is time's ease, and the sweet oil that coaxes all obstinate locks and rusty hinges to loving kindness. And am I proof against that lovesome pair, old age and childhood, twins in time, in sorrowful vagueness? And will I not pretend the accustomed thanks? humouring age with filial flowers, childhood with pebbles. Those famous men of old, the ogres, they had long beards and stinking armpits. They were wide-mouthed, long-yarded, and great-bellied, yet of no taller stature, sirs, than you. They lived on Ogre Strand, which was no place, but the churl's terror of their vast extent, where every foot was 33 inches, and every penny bought a whole hog. Now of their company none survive, not one, the times being, thank God, unfavourable to all but nightmare shadows of their fame. Their images stand howling on the hill, the winds enforced against their wide mouths, whose granite haunches country folk salute with May-Day kisses, and whose knob knees. So many feats they did to admiration. With their enormous throats they sang louder than 10 cathedral choirs. With their grand yards stormed the most rare and obstinate maidenheads. With their strong-gutted and capacious bellies digested stones and glass like ostriches. They dug great pits and heaped huge mounds, deflected rivers, wrestled with a bear, and hammered judgments for posterity, for the sweet Cupid-lipped and tassel-yarded, delicate-stomached dwellers in Pygmy Alley, where, with brooding on them, a foot is shrunk to 7 inches, and 12pence will not buy a spare rib. And who would judge between ogres and pygmies, the thundering text, the snivelling commentary? Reading between such covers, he will marvel how his own members bloat and shrink again. To bring the dead to life is no great magic. Few are wholly dead. Blow on a dead man's embers, and a live flame will start. Let his forgotten griefs be now, and now his withered hopes. Subdue your pen to his handwriting, until it prove as natural to sign his name as yours. Limp as he limped, swear by the oaths he swore. If he wore black, affect the same. If he had gouty fingers, be yours gouty too. Assemble tokens intimate of him, a ring, a hood, a chair. Around these elements then build a home familiar to the greedy revenant. So grant him life, but reckon that the grave which housed him may not be empty now. You, in his spotted garments, shall yourself lie wrapped. She then, like snow in a dark night, fell secretly, and the world waked with dazzling of the drowsy eye, so that some muttered, "Too much light," and drew the curtains close. Like snow, warmer than fingers feared, and to soil friendly, holding the histories of the night in yet unmelted tracks.
in defense of your nation, religion, and cause, the Almighty Jehovah will strengthen. The Almighty Jehovah will strengthen your hands. Arm, 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 army brave, a noble cause, the cause of men. Demand your zeal, a noble cause. Arm, army brave, the cause of men. Your zeal demands. Tis well, my friends, with transport I behold the spirit of our fathers, famed of old for their exploits in war. Oh, may their fire with active courage you, their sons, inspire, as when the mighty Joshua fought, and those amazing wonders wrought, stood still, obedient to his voice, the Son, till kings he had destroyed, and kingdoms won. Call forth thy powers, my soul, and dare. Call forth thy powers, my soul, and dare. The conflict of an equal war. The conflict of an equal war. Call forth thy powers, my soul, and dare the conflict of an equal war, and dare the conflict of an equal war. Great is the glory of the conquering sword, of the conquering sword, that triumphs in sweet liberty restored, that triumphs in sweet liberty restored, in sweet liberty restored. Call forth thy powers, my soul, and dare. Call forth thy powers, my soul, and dare. Call forth thy powers, my soul, and dare. The conflict of an
worth caressing, no endearment worth caressing, no endearment worth caressing. Set of virtue, source of pleasure, oh, liberty, thou choicest treasure, seat of virtue, source of pleasure, life without thee knows no blessing. No endearment worth caressing, no endearment worth caressing, no endearment worth
mansions of the blessed. Can ye behold, said he, the miseries in which the long insulted Judah lies? Can ye behold their dire distress, and not at least attempt to redress? Then faintly, with expiring breath, Resolve, my sons, on liberty or death. We come, oh see, my sons prepare, the rough habiliments of war, with hearts intrepid and revengeful hands, to execute, O sire, thy dread commands. Ambition, if ever honor was thine aim, challenge it here. The glorious cause gives sanction to thy claim. No unhallowed desire a breast shall inspire, nor lust of unbounded power, nor lust of unbounded power. No unhallowed desire a breast shall inspire, nor lust of unbounded power, nor lust of unbounded power. For peace to obtain, free peace let us gain, and conquest shall last no more, but conquest shall last no more. But peace to obtain, free peace let us gain, and conquest shall last no more, conquest shall ask no more. Haste we, my brethren, haste we to the field, dependent on our Lord, our strength and shield.
Playing upon the hill 3 centaurs were. They lifted each a hoof, they stared at me, and stamped the dust. They stamped the dust, they snuffed upon the air, and all their movements had the fierce glee of power and pride and lust. Of power and pride and lust. Then with a shout they tossed their heads and wheeled and galloped round in furious brotherhood. In furious brotherhood, around about they charged, they swerved, they leaped, then bound on bound, they raced into the wood.
Light-hearted William twirled his November moustaches and, half-dressed, looked from the bedroom window upon the spring weather. "Hey!" sighed he gaily, leaning out to see up and down the street where a heavy sunlight lay beyond some blue shadows. Into the room he drew his head again and laughed to himself quietly, twirling his green moustaches.
Brutality. The throat of into the yellow. They ask, "Oh, where is the lotus I would close my eyes and kiss his lips and seek consolation from a dead tongue. Calamitatis and misery, beneath the words I hear his screams. Mors stupebit et natura. A mouth that cannot speak. Of death. Kyrie eleison.
Should the building totter, run for an archway. We were there already. Already the collapse powdered the air with chalk, and shrieking of old men crushed under the fallen beams dwindled to comic yelps. How not terrible, when the event outran the alarm, and suddenly we were free. Free to forget how grim it stood, that tower, and what wide fissures ran up the west wall, how rotten the underpinning at the south-eastern angle. Satire had whirled a gentle wind around it, as if to buttress the worn masonry. Yet we, waiting, had abstained from satire. It behoved us indeed as poets to be silent in Siloam, to foretell no visible calamity. Though kings were crowned, and gold coin minted still, and horses still munched at nosebags in the public streets, all such sad emblems were to be condoned. An old wives' tale, not ours. The full moon, easterly rising, furious, against a winter sky ragged with red, and hedges high in snow, and owls raving. Solemnities not easy to withstand. A shiver wakes the spine. In boyhood, having encountered the scene, I suffered horror. I fetched the moon home with owls and snow to nurse in my head throughout the trials of a new spring, famine unassuaged, but fell in love, and made a lodgment of love on those chill ramparts. Her image was my ensign. Snows melted, hedges sprouted, the moon tenderly shone, the owls trilled with tongues of nightingale. These were all lies, though they matched the time, and brought me less than luck. Her image, warped in the weather, turned beldamish. Then back came winter on me at a bound. The pallid sky heaved with a moonquake. Dangerous it had been, with love notes, to serenade Queen Famine. In tears I recomposed the former scene. Let the snow lie, watched the moon rise, suffered the owls, paid homage to them of unevent. High on his figured couch beyond the waves he dreams, in dream recalling her set walk down paths of oyster shell bordered with flowers, and down the shadowy turf beneath the vine. He sighs, deep sunk in my erroneous past, she haunts the ruins and the ravaged lawns. Yet still unharmed it stands, the regal house, crooked with age and overtopped by pines, where first he wearied of her constancy. And with a surer foot she goes than when, dread of his hate, was thunder in the air, when the pines agonized with flaws of wind, and flowers glared up at her with frantic eyes. Of him, now all is done, she never dreams, but calls a living blessing down upon what he would have, mere rubble and rank grass, playing the queen to nobler company.
The Grand Old Duke of York, he had 10,000 men. He marched them up to the top of the hill and he marched them down again. The Grand Old Duke of York, he had 10,000 men. He marched them up to the top of the hill and he marched them down again. When they were up, and when they were down, and when they were only halfway up, they were neither up nor down. The Grand Old Duke of York, he had 10,000 men. He marched them up to the top of the hill and he marched them down again. Crom! Oliver Cromwell lay buried and dead. Hee-haw, buried and dead. There grew an old apple tree over his head. Hee-haw, over his head. The apples were ripe and ready to fall. Hee-haw, ready to fall. There came an old woman to gather them all. Hee-haw, gather them all. Oliver rose and gave her a drop. Hee-haw, gave her a drop, which made the old woman go hippity-hop. Hee-haw, hippity-hop. The sound of the bridle they lie on the shelf. Hee-haw, lie on the shelf. If you want any more, you can sing it yourself. Hee-haw, sing it yourself.
ho. The camels are coming, ho, ho, ho. The camels are coming, ho, ho, ho. The camels are coming to Bonnie Loch Leven. The camels are coming, ho, ho, ho. Up on the lomas I lay. Up on the lomas I lay. I looked down to Bonnie Loch Leven and saw 3 bonny pipers play. The camels are coming, ho, ho, ho. The camels are coming, ho, ho, ho. The camels are coming to Bonnie Loch Leven. The camels are coming, ho, ho, ho.
Great Argyle, he goes before, he makes the cannons and guns to roar. With sound of trumpet, pipe and drum, the camels are coming, oh ho, ho, ho.
The camels are coming, ho, 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 ho. The camels are coming, ho, 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 ho. The camels are coming to Bonnie Loch Leven. The camels are coming, ho, 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 ho. The camels, they are all with arms, they loyal faith and truth to show. With banners rattling in the wind, the camels are coming, ho, 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 ho. The camels are coming, ho, 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 ho. The camels are coming, ho, 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 ho. The camels are coming to Bonnie Loch Leven. The camels are coming, ho, 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 ho. The camels are coming, ho, 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 ho. The camels are coming, ho, 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 ho. The camels are coming to Bonnie Loch Leven. The camels are coming, ho, 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 ho.
There is one story, and one story only, that will prove worth your telling, whether as learned bard or gifted child. To it all lines or lesser gauds belong, that startle with their shining such common stories as they stray into. Is it of trees you tell, their months and virtues, of strange beasts that beset you, of birds that croak at you the triple will, or of the zodiac and how slow it turns below the boreal crown, prison of all true kings that ever reigned? Water to water, arc again to arc, from woman back to woman, so each new victim treads unfalteringly the never-altered circuit of his fate, bringing 12 peers as witness both to his starry rise and starry fall. Or is it of the Virgin's silver beauty, all fish below the thighs? She in her left hand bears a leafy quince. When with her right she crooks a finger, smiling, how may the king hold back? Royally then he barters life for love. Or of the undying snake from chaos hatched, whose coils contain the ocean, into whose chops with naked sword he springs, then in black water, tangled by the reeds, battles 3 days and nights, to be spewed up beside her scalloped shore. Much snow is falling, winds roar hollowly, the owl hoots from the elder. Fear in your heart cries to the loving cup. Sorrow to sorrow as the sparks fly upward. The log groans and confesses. There is one story, and one story only. Dwell on her graciousness, dwell on her smiling. Do not forget what flowers the great boar trampled down in ivy time. Her brow was creamy as the crested wave. Her sea-blue eyes were wild, but nothing promised that is not performed.
I had finished my dinner, gone for a walk. It was fine out, and I started whistling. It wasn't long before I met a man and his wife riding on a pony with 7 kids running along beside them. I said hello and went on. Pretty soon I met another couple, this time with 19 kids, and all of them riding on a big, smiling hippopotamus. I invited them home.
The winter evening settles down with smell of steaks in passageways. 6 o'clock, the burnt-out ends of smoky days. And now a gusty shower wraps the grimy scraps of withered leaves about your feet and newspapers from vacant lots. The showers beat on broken blinds and chimney pots, and at the corner of the street a lonely cab horse steams and stamps. And then the lighting of the lamps.
The cuckoo is a clever bird, and 7 wives he keeps, I've heard. The first one sweeps and cleans all day, the second takes the dust away, the third one scrubs the table bright and decks it with a cloth so white. The fourth one brings him bread and wine, the fifth one then with him lay down, the sixth one makes his nest so warm, the seventh sleeps there in his arm. Where are you going to, my pretty maid? Oh, where are you going to, my pretty maid?
St. Peter, alas, shakes his head with a smile. Old Angus MacTavish may not come inside.
The 6 dark green snails turn round in the lane and bring him so quickly to earth back again. Old Angus MacTavish is 75, with 6 golden angels to heavenward ride. And this time, dear children, the gates open wide. Old Angus MacTavish may ride right inside. The 6 golden angels drive on in the lane and don't bring him ever to earth back again. The 6 golden angels drive on in the lane and don't bring him ever to earth back again. The cocks on the house stop blowing his horn. The bulls in the barn are threshing of corn. The maids in the meadows are making of hay. The ducks in the river are swimming away. Oop-a-la-la, oop-a-la-la, oop-a-la, oop-a-la, oop-a-la-la, 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 oop-a-la, oop-a-la, oop-a-la-la. Goldilocks, wilt thou be mine? I shall not wash dishes nor yet feed the swine, but sit on a cushion and sew a fine seam and feed upon strawberry sugar